Rollercoaster from 1977, starring George Segal, Timothy Bottoms, Richard Widmark, and a little part there by Henry Fonda, is a suspense thriller directed by James Goldstone. Now, it came out in the summer of 1977, and it bombed. Why? Probably for two reasons. One, there was a little movie, you might have heard of it, that came out that summer called Star Wars, and everybody was seeing that. And number two, this film was a little mismarketed. It's a suspense thriller, but it also was one of those films, and the last film to use sense around, where they used to shake the chairs during the disaster movies. Well, this film is not a disaster movie. This is more in the line of a Hitchcock thing. George Segal is a safety inspector, and Timothy Bottoms is a mad bomber who wants money, who will destroy roller coasters. It's an interesting game of cat and mouse, and the interplay between these two is very interesting. Not too dissimilar from a movie that would be made years later, a better film called In the Line of Fire. The fact that John Malkovich would always call up Clint Eastwood, it's kind of interesting how Timothy Bottoms is always calling up George Segal in the film. Lalo Schifrin's score is very memorable, very suspenseful, not unlike something Bernard Herrmann would do for Hitchcock. This film was also on HBO a lot when I was growing up and got quite the cult following over the years.
Who's putting the lid on this? The police? A recording from a stranger.
Get on the right, Harry.
A drop in Virginia.
Harry.
Yeah.
Remember what happens when you don't follow directions.
And a man in the middle on the ride of his life.
You'll also see a young Helen Hunt as George Segal's daughter. If you blink, you might miss a young Steve Guttenberg. And also Craig Wasson, who starred in Ghost Story and Body Double, who's billed as Hippie Boy, is in the film.
They're over the lift. It's too late to stop them now. Let's go.
Rollercoaster from 1977. A film that should not be forgotten.